to finish up, I want to talk about like the coaching side of that situation. So, maybe as the coach, because you've been in like on both sides of that, like you said before, how do you approach that game? How do you approach that game for your team? What's the message? How do you prepare for it? If it's that total mismatch where you're just going against a powerhouse.
Yeah, well, either way, the job of a coach is this is where I'm a little bit hard on coaches, or maybe I'm not. But I don't think you should coach if you don't want to prepare. And if you don't want to give your kids a plan and you want to be there for them and help them succeed, I don't think you should coach. And there's a lot of people that do that. And then there's a lot of people that are really good planners and care a lot and maybe even over detailed. But nonetheless, if you're coaching and you don't have your kids on a plan, then like what do you expect? Right? Because that then you're just barking out things, work harder. That's not a thing. It's actually not a thing unless there's some structure towards that work. So a plan, one way or the other. So I've got a super good team that you should win every night. The plan is okay, we have our game plan and always have the expectations like if you're a super team that you're going to get one or two things from the other team. A team that's already defeated or a team that's going to give you their like 100%.
Absolutely.
They're going to give you everything. So be ready for both. So you don't want to get ready for both mid-game.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
You want to be prepared. So the structure and the lesson every day is, like I said earlier about my team, is that you have to be the best, but also the hardest working. You have to have habits that that are going to be successful. Like that's your back checking all the little things, not taking shortcuts, because one day you're going to meet your match, and it could be today, right? So, and then never minimizing an opponent, because I know some people will look and say, well, yeah, but you're not going to beat these guys or whatever. But someone can beat you, and it could shock you. Happens all the time. San Jose Sharks this year are supposed to be the worst team and possibly one of the worst teams in the history of hockey, as they were talking like early in the season. They're winning games, and they're beating some good teams. So you don't know who you're dealing with and whatever, right? Or catch them on a bad day. So anyways, that would be that for a good team. But it's the same thing for a poor team. It's like help them prepare. Help them prepare. So you have now if you have, it depends kind of what level, but I think you should still actually take that back. You should help your team be a good team. But if you're a poor team, like if you're trying to run systems or run a run and gun track meet trying to score goals, then you're setting the kids up for failure, right? Because you're playing guys that are just superior. They'll steal pucks, move the puck 20 times, and put it in the back of the net. So you probably want to be more defensive, hardworking team, period, and you make habits that are like that. So when you go against a team that is really good, you're not sitting there saying that we're going to lose, like this try hard. You go, you walk into that team and you prepare for it, and as you talk to them, it's like, don't make it too big, just make it a game. But you let them know, like, okay, we got a game coming up this week. It's a good team, we can compete. How? Here's the key though, how? Because it's easy to say we can do it, work hard. You have to give them a couple things that make them realize, oh yeah, maybe we can, right? So I did that with one of my teams. It was really funny how this worked with when my kid was a little guy. We're playing a Burlington for the championship, the Ontario Championship, or was getting to the Ontario Championship. We're a little farmer town, Essex. So and it was not their top team, obviously, because it's a metropolitan, not a metro, it's a city. It was their B team, so it was like kind of the same level. But the name Burlington was, everybody in Ontario knows where Burlington is. No one knows where Essex is. So ironically, the refs didn't show up on time, and the kids were kind of getting antsy and stuff. So I what I did with them was I said, do you know? So I told them a story of David and Goliath, right? And they're like, okay, cool. But I said, why? But why did David win this fight? And they go, so I showed them all the reasons, right? So I said, when we play these guys, we're the David, these are the Goliath. Why can we beat them? So I said, you guys tell me a reason why we should beat them. So they just started, we got a good goalie. I said, there we go. I wrote out with a white marker on the wall, good goalie. Oh, because this guy has a great shot. Yeah. Oh, because we know how to block shots. Yeah. So we wrote about 50 things on there. So I said, done. Just go do it, right? So that's something you could do with your team, not write on the walls, but like have them know what they're good at, right? Have them know their strengths. So we could be playing the Toronto this or the Detroit this. Okay, we're playing these guys, and they're a good team. But like, look, guys, this is why we can beat them, because we can win faceoffs. We can do that. We can tie guys up. We can take the middle of the ice away from them. We can chip pucks out. We can frustrate them. We can get on them. You know that Eric guy on that team? He likes to skate around and all that stuff. You know what, Andy? If you just stay on him and give him a little shot here and there, he's gonna get frustrated. Maybe he'll take a penalty. Maybe they're in the penalty box, and you give them reasons to believe that they can win. Not that you hope that we hang in there. Give them reasons to believe. And then you know what? If it's 5-0 in the first 5 minutes, it's like you just stick with it. But if it's 0-0 going into the first, or 1-0, or you're up or something like that, they're believing in their reason, and they're believing in themselves. Yeah. And the wheels can come off at the end of that, and maybe you might win or whatever. But you can reward them for that, right? You can actually point out, this is what we did well, right?
Yeah, I think that's huge. The biggest thing, man, from the coaching side is just actually having a plan. I cannot tell you, like, for all the coaches that listen, and even the parents that listen, and I'm sure parents would agree with this anyways, because a lot of parents think their coach is an idiot anyways, but there's so many coaches, when I talk to players, that their coach is not teaching them any kind of structure of how to play the game. So they do, like, at practice, it's like always flow drills, right? Or it's always their battle drills, or it's always their whatever. But you need an actual strategy. Like, the game actually requires some strategy as you get up and you play older teams, higher level. So if you're going to go against one of those high firepower teams, like, is your best move, hey guys, work hard, let's just go shot for shot with these guys? That's probably not a great strategy, but if you guys win 80% of the faceoffs, that means you guys start with the puck 80% of the time. It's like, now they're not starting with it. You're taking time away from them now.
Yeah.
There's
and now maybe you could just dump it in, and we'll send 1-3-1 or 1-4, and they're gonna never, like, because actually my Bell Tire team, we went to the Marley tournament, played a team, junior Canadians, and they knew, because they scouted us at one of the tournaments, and they knew we were gonna be good. And they hacked and whacked, and our guys got frustrated, and so we were playing 3-2 for first 2 periods, legit the whole time. I'm like, guys, like, whatever. But they were playing a 1-3, 1-4. It was like a total trap. So, I worked around it with the kids and stuff like that. And it took till the third period for us to get 2 goals. 2-0. 2-0. And it was like they were so frustrated. And then that team, we played them again, and they were better every time. Because they
you told me. Yeah, I remember you saying this story.
Yeah, and I think we tied them in one tournament. It was like simply they frustrated the shit out of our guys, and they weren't used to it. So if you can learn how to do that to another team, you give yourself a fighting chance. We were better, no questions. But we were a team that was fast, could move pucks, and it was like all beautiful hockey. But what was missing a little, not totally, but was missing was the heart grind stuff. Winning is too easy. They don't like it.
That's you've never had to sharpen that skill, right?
That's right.
And that's, if there's a weak link to be found with a lot of those good teams, again, in general, because like some teams I'm sure have a lot of heart and grind and whatever, but a lot of those high firepower teams that always win, if you want to find a crack in the armor, a lot of times it's that frustrating game. It's that they're used to going tic-tac-toe through the neutral zone, but now there's 7 people between the blue lines. It's like, that's hard now to make those passes. Even if you're no good, you're just in the way, right? So you're going to break up plays. You're going to disrupt things,
Yeah, you dump it in to go get it, and there's a guy interfering a little bit, just enough to slow you down, and now you're frustrated. I don't have the puck on my stick. And those guys on the bench that haven't been used to like that grindy stuff, they look at each other and they start bitching at each other, right? A lot of the times.
Yeah. So one more question from the coaching side. Actually, this is kind of just for me, actually, more than anyone else, but I'm sure other people will find it helpful. If you get into the situation as the coach where there's just not much else to say, for example, so let's say you guys made your game plan and they're sticking to it to a T and it's 5-0, or they're not sticking to it at all and they're getting blown out, and it's just like, you're, as the coach, you're just like, I don't know what to say to you. Like, I don't know what to say. What's your move, or what's your behavior in that type of situation as the coach? Like, sometimes is it you just leave it for today? It's like, you guys aren't having it today, we'll come back tomorrow and try again, or what?
It definitely can be that. It could be a lot of humor. Yeah. It could be if we're playing whatever, pick the team, and it's usually, like you said, you prepared, you did everything you can. It's 5-0 the first 3 to 5 minutes, whatever it is. You can just sit there and say, "Boys, it's a good team. It's a good team. All you can do is stick to the plan and work. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. You can't be overly like that's a good team, man. And maybe it's even you know what I didn't plan this one right for you guys. Like it is what it is.
Yeah,
Like
you know what? That's actually a good point. I didn't think you were going to say that. That's a good point because you can that is the moment. That moment is where the coach can like turn on the players and be like, "Well, you guys didn't do this, that, the other thing." But if you're in the situation where they actually are doing their actual best and they're just getting wrecked, it's like Jesus. It's like just Jesus, guys. You know,
yeah.
and you can turn it.
And then you get to just throw out like I want you to keep plugging here. I'm proud of you for going. This is a good team, boys.
And you know what? That you might get a better reaction from your team where they actually have a little bit more juice and have a little bit more heart with that attitude. As where it's like, boys, like you have nothing to be embarrassed about. Like these guys are just really good. Like let's go out there and just give them hell, boys. Like get in their face, give them hell. And it's like that. That is actually a. I bet you that would be a. I didn't even think of that as
you
an
teach
option.
them pride. Like let's just play for pride. Quitters don't quit. Or winners don't quit. Like you use those little phrases and stuff, but like sometimes it's too much. It's like these are really good. Let's just keep going. Let's keep going, guys.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay.
let's set a goal. Like I mean, you don't have to say much, but let's try to not get scored on. Let's try to get the puck out of our end. Like whatever. But I think sometimes you just gotta laugh and say, "Oh my God, I underestimated these guys," or me, right? Like I didn't do a good job of doing this, guys. This one's on me. It just like makes them feel like okay, it's not you're not gonna. Not pissed at us.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not just losers.
Yeah, and then the other side of it too is like if you just get real quiet, because I know from working with a lot of players, they say this too is like it feels like the coach just kind of like quits on us when if we get down, and if you're a team that gets down a lot, now it just feels like your coach is always quitting on you. That's not a good look either. So as the coach, like you have a lot of responsibility in commanding that mindset or how that vibe is in the room. That's kind of your job. So
and if they didn't come out to play that day, that's a different story. Right? Then you could that attitude could come across. But you try like you're the adult. You got to try to get the most out of them as you can, and keep them positive and moving and trying and not quitting. Those are the lessons the hockey's all about. Win or lose, win or lose. Like that's the thing. I think a lot of times, at every level, I think a lot of the times the easiest thing to do as a coach is just to, give it to the to your guys and point everything out. And then sometimes if you really look, you might want to just say, you know what, boys, that one's on me. Or go in the room and you can be pissed, but you got to look at yourself and say, I got out coached. That's a possibility. I believed in this kid when I made a mistake. Because we all make mistakes. Coaches aren't perfect, that's for sure.
Yeah, I remember because I remember coaching one game and it was like the players just the effort was just not great, and it was there was no teaching to be done. It's just like you guys aren't getting in you're not on the forecheck, you're not in the corners, you're not battling, you're not doing the things. It's like there's nothing for me to say. I don't have anything to say. Like if you don't do that, there's nothing I can say to you guys. And that was my take home message after the game. It was like I'm not mad. I was like I'm not mad. It's just there's nothing for me. I can't say anything to you guys. It's like if you don't go work, then nothing else matters. I can show you whatever you want. There's nothing I can write for you. There's nothing I can draw. There's nothing that's going to help if you guys don't go do that. And I was curious of like maybe if there's a better way to handle that situation, but I don't. In that particular situation, I think that was kind of the right thing to do. But if you're just getting really outclassed with a team, I like that kind of way of handling it, where it's just like, boys, like buckle up, like we're in one here, and make lighter of it than like, are you going to be mad at them because they got smashed by a team that's way better? Like,